Hello and welcome everybody to our abs and core class today. I am your instructor, Quinn Gabler, HFS at Exoset Autovest based out of San Rafael. Thank you so much for joining me today. Really appreciate it. We're going to go through a quick warm up and then we're going to get into two little circuits. We're going to be practicing a little bit more of stability and how to use our core while balancing and controlling movements through balance versus strict core work today. So I'm excited about that. And then we're going to go through another circuit that's going to be a lot more abdominant. So don't worry, you will get plenty of time to get good abdominal work in. And then we're going to finish off with a couple of stretches. So getting right into it, the first thing we're going to do is our knee hugs, getting into the glutes and the hamstrings. All right, we're going to bend forward just a little bit, pick that shin up, and pull the knee up to the chest, giving a little pull up at the top so we can really get into good depth there. As we pull the knee up to the chest. If you're feeling a little bit of tightness in the front of your hips, as I am, you can bring the knee out a little bit wider. Sometimes those hip flexors can be tight and cause a little bit of pinching when stretching the glutes back there. All right, so let's move on to our hamstring sweeps, which is our next exercise. So we're going to go ahead and bring one foot out with our toes pointed up, reaching our hands back behind the hips. We're going to drop down, sweep the fingertips across the ground, and come back down, scooping the same side each time. And then switching feet, popping the other foot out, toes up, reaching behind and sweeping through. Really trying to get into the hamstring there. Reaching down all the way back behind the hips and sweeping up to the top. Good. Next up, we're going to do some arm circles. Get our shoulders warmed up here. Okay, so we're going to stand about feet a little bit wider than hip width, arms out to the side, and we're just going to do small circles forward, getting pretty quick, trying to stand nice and tall as we get bigger and bigger with our hands, bigger and bigger circles, really opening up the shoulder there. Getting smaller and smaller and smaller, back to tight. Now switch directions. Getting bigger and bigger and bigger. All the way big. And starting to close the circle. Getting smaller, smaller, and smaller, and smaller, all the way to stop. Perfect. Next up, we're having our T-twists. I'm gonna adjust our camera here just a little bit. Good. So we got our T-twists. We're gonna go out into that same stance, arms out to the side. Here, we're just gonna rotate the spine back and forth, squishing the bug underneath our foot as we come back and forth, side to side, getting really good rotation as we move through here. Back and forth, getting everything nice and loose. Starting to focus on our breathing and our breath as we're just moving through here. And down to relax. All right, so now we're going to get into our first circuit, which is going to be a little bit of some single leg balance work and some mobility. But the first one we're going to do is a runner's hold pose. Okay, so the ideal form that you're going to have is going to be bringing one knee up and holding 90 degrees with your arms as well. So I've got one arm back in a 90-degree position, one arm forward in a 90 degree, and my knee up at a 90-degree position. So we're gonna hold there and then switch feet, bringing that knee up, giving a little bit of balance, and then coming back down, switching sides, and moving through. So it might be good to have a mirror or a camera so that you can see each position of your arm if you're actually getting to 90 and how things are kind of holding and stabilizing there. We're going to go one more on each side. Up. And good. All right, next up, we've got our single leg balance to reach. So the way we're going to do that is similar to the hamstring sweep, but we're going to actually pick the heel up off the ground. So I've got one foot out in front of me forward, toes pointed upward. And from here, I'm going to reach my hand down without bringing my foot up. So if you can't necessarily balance the whole time, go ahead and keep that heel on the ground, but keep all the weight centered over this planted leg. For me, it's my right leg. And you're just going to reach down and reach for that toe while trying to get all that weight on that stretched leg. This is a pretty difficult exercise. So don't be frustrated if you can't get it right away. That just means you've got a lot of room for growth through your balance. Okay, so we're going to do this a couple of times on one side. And then we're going to switch to the other foot. Getting that foot out in front, toe pointed up. Reaching down and coming back up. Trying to get that weight centered over the middle of your foot as you reach down and come back up, stabilizing the whole time. And try not to bring your foot up to the hand. If you can't get all the way there because it's tight, that's fine. Just work with the range that you've got. If you can only get to your knee, that's fine. If you can only get to your shin, that's all right too. You just want to try and reach down to that toe and hinge at the hip there. Okay, so next up, we're going to go into our bird dogs here, down on the mat. We're going to get our hands right below the shoulders, knees right below the hips, and we're going to extend the hand and foot out, holding at the top, and coming down and extending out. So you want to give about a 5-second hold and then come back down, alternating sides, trying to stay as stable as you can. So you're not trying to rock back and forth. You're just limit how much your movement is, except for the extension of the arm and the leg. So the whole rest of the trunk and body is kind of just staying nice and stable like a tabletop. Should start to feel this a little bit in the back and in your core as you're stabilizing here. And rest. Good. Now we're going to flip over and get into our leg raises. So we're going to lay flat on the mat, feet extended out. You can get your hands underneath your hips for just a little bit more leverage. And then you're going to bring your feet together, point the toes out and sweep up and go very slow and in control on the way down. Again, trying to keep everything in the trunk of your body nice and stable. Trying to keep your back pretty flat on the ground. You don't want to have an arching in your lower back, especially as you start dropping that weight of your feet and legs down. Your back really wants to start to arch out because it's a little weak, or maybe it doesn't know how to use those muscles. So really try and focus on what muscles are being used to control the weight of your legs right now. Let's go a few more. Last one. And rest. Good. Next up, we have our bike crunches. So laying flat on your back, you're going to put your feet flat on the floor, extending one leg out. You're going to twist the elbow up to the knee, extend that leg back, and twist the opposite side, alternating each side every rep. Again, going at a very controlled pace, making sure you're doing the work that you want to be doing, targeting the muscles you want to be targeting. So giving a nice controlled contraction and a twist, working all those muscles in the six-pack zone, trying to really stabilize our movements here. A few more. And done. Whew. Those got cooking. All right, 25% of the way through, almost there. We're gonna start back up again at the top with our runner's holds. We've got 4 on each side. You guys can start going at your own pace now. But while we're doing this, remember, we want to make sure we're trying to keep 90 degrees on both sides. So let's bring that knee up, holding 90 on both sides of the arms, keep it nice and stable, and then we're going back down. 90 degrees at both arms, at the knee, and back down. Giving little body scans through the shoulders, through the arms, through the elbows, hands, wrists, knees. Giving little checks, making sure we're doing what we need to be doing to get the right form here. It's all about getting your body moving and working on the same plane. Let's go one more each side. And done. Good. Next up, we've got our single leg reaches. Okay, so getting one foot up, toes pointed up off the ground. We're gonna reach down, touch that big toe, and come back up. Reaching forward and coming back up. At a nice, even pace. Remember, you can put that heel down to help stabilize if you need, but really trying to keep all the weight on that planted foot. Let's go a few more. And switch. Good. Reaching down, keeping that leg straight. Really trying to keep both feet low to the floor. Try not to cheat and bring that toe up to your hand. We're working on the range of motion we have right now. Things don't get better if you take shortcuts. A few more. And 3, good. Okay. Next up, we have our bird dogs. Okay, so we're gonna hop down to our hands and knees, quadruped position here. Hands right below the shoulders, knees right below the hips. We're extending one arm and one leg out, making sure that they're opposite sides for our contralateral stability here. And coming back down, keeping our torso tight and exchanging sides, limiting how much we rock back and forth as we get into this extended position. Nice, even pace. No rush through these movements. It's all about connecting the mind to the body. Let's go one more each side. Good. All right. Next up, we've got our leg raises. So we're going to flip over onto our backs, extending the feet out, getting flat, placing the hands underneath the hips, and we're sweeping the toes up, keeping our back flat, and using those lower abdominal muscles right on top of the pelvis to help lower down those legs and feet. Nice and easy. If you're looking for more of a challenge, you can just try keeping your heels up the whole time. So very minimally touching the floor or not touching it at all. And rest. Good. Next up, we have our bike crunches. Okay, so we're going to start again. Both feet flat out. We're going to get our hands behind the head and alternating sides. We're going to twist and bring our opposite knee to elbow here. Nice even pace, controlling the movement, getting our chin and chest up. Let's go a few more. And rest. Ooh, doggy. All right, 50% of the way there, guys. Let's go into our second set here. So first thing we're gonna do is we've got 30 seconds of mountain climbers, all right? So hands below the shoulders. We're gonna pop the feet back. Make sure I got my, yep, there we go. Pop the feet back, knees up, and we are driving up, bringing the knee to chest, pushing the ground away from our hands through the shoulder, keeping our shoulders off the ground. Nice, hot feet, getting those knees up to chest. Couple more seconds. And rest. Good. Next up, we've got our skydivers. So we're going to lay flat on our stomach. Get our hands out to each side. About 90 degrees at the elbow. And we're picking our hands up. Chest up. Pulling those shoulders down. Elbows pointed down towards the hips. Coming down. We got about 5-second holds as we're coming up here. And we're going to do 3 more. Making sure that your chest comes up. Pinch the shoulders back. Engage all the way through to the hips. 1 more. And down. Good. Next up, we've got a 30-second plank. So, getting our forearms down, feet on the ground, popping the hips and knees up. We're getting nice and strong as we push the ground away from the body, keeping our hips level with our shoulders. Holding a nice tight plank. With a few more seconds, we're going to be moving into our side plank here. So I want you guys to just flip right onto that elbow. Try and keep the hips up if you can. Onto your side. And hold up. Very good. Try not to let those hips drop down. Got a few more seconds and switch. Flipping over, again, trying to keep the hips up the whole time. Almost there, a few more seconds. Don't tap out. And done. Good. Bring the knees down. Actually, we're gonna flip over onto our back. We've got dead bugs next. So, knees are gonna be up. Kick the feet out, hands on top of the knees. And just like those bird dogs, we're extending opposite leg, opposite hand, coming back and reaching back. Good. Getting nice and strong through those hips there. Really working on the lower core muscles. Making sure that we're extending our legs completely straight out. Got a few more here. And rest. Good. Next up, we have our, what do we have? Glute bridges. All right, so knees up, feet flat. We're gonna get our hands on the ground, driving through the heels to push the hips up into the air, squeezing those hips together as we get our drive through the heels. You want a nice flat line all the way up from the shoulder, through the hips, through the knees. And we're just gonna hold at the top here for a few seconds. Getting a nice long burn. Really trying to push those hips up, keep them up. Nice long glute bridge hold. And we're slowly coming back down. Good. All right. 75%, guys. We're going back to the top with our mountain climbers. So hands underneath the shoulders, popping our knees up as our feet come back and driving the knee up to chest. Nice fast pace, hot feet, like you got a pile of coals down at the end of your mat, and you just got to pop your feet right back up to your chest so you don't get burned. Nice and quick, nice, fast, drive, drive. Few more seconds and rest. Nice job. All right, we're gonna lie straight down onto our stomach. We got a set of skydivers. Hands coming out to the side at 90 degrees. And we're popping our chin, chest, and hands up, pinching the shoulders together, pointing the elbows down to the hips, holding and dropping down, up. Nice tight pinch, hold. We've got 3 more. Keep those arms at 90. Last one. Make it count, hold out, and done. Good. Now we're going into our 30-second plank. All right, really try and stay flat here, keeping the shoulders level with the hips. Feet come back, knees come off the ground, and we're holding. Getting those hips nice and level with the shoulders, pushing the ground away through the elbows, and tucking the tummy up towards the spine with a nice flat back, just like a 2x4. Few more seconds here, and then we're going to go straight into a side plank on 3, 2, 1. Flipping over, keeping those hips up. Staying in our side plank here. Staying in the challenge. We're almost there. Couple more seconds on this side, and then we're going to go right into the next one. And flip. Holding up. Keeping our hips up to the ceiling. Pressing the ground away with the shoulders. Getting a nice flat line all the way through the heels. We got a couple more seconds. 3, 2, 1, done. All right, next up, we got dead bugs, flipping onto our back, getting our knees up, feet up, hands on the knees, and we're gonna extend opposite hand and leg out, alternating sides each time we come back up. Very good. Keep maintaining a nice even pace. Very good. Keep it moving. And relax. Good. Last one. We just got our glute bridge hold. So we're going to get our heels flat on the ground, driving the hips straight up into the air, squeezing at the top, pressing up, getting up onto our shoulders, getting those hips up as high as we can towards the ceiling. A nice flat line all the way from the shoulders to the hips, through the knees. Getting our feet nice and grounded. Should be feeling it in those hammies, back of the thigh and right in the butt. Right in those glutes. A few more seconds here of our hold. Keep it up. And down. Very good. Nice job, everybody. Got to 100%. Now we just got a little bit of a stretch out, and we'll finish up here, okay? First one we're going to do is quad rocks. So we're going to go ahead and stick one leg out to the side, and we're just going to rock back and forth, working on the inner adductor here, inner thigh, right into that groin. You can go get that leg nice and far out so that when you rock back, you're getting a nice big stretch. Okay, go ahead and switch sides. Rocking back and forth. Nice and easy. All right. Very good. Thank you guys so much for hopping in today. I really appreciate it. Hope you all have a great rest of your week or whatever it is you may be doing from anywhere in the world. All right. See you later, guys.